Okay, first off, we will not discuss the character She-Ra, even if she's here in a picture. But She-Ra is a kind of character who restarted the old discussion about how a character should be, and especially a female character should be. And an important question always is She-Ra not feminine enough, or was the old design more feminine? So the question should be, what makes a character feminine? Because we have a lot of different kind of characters and a lot of different stereotypes what makes a character feminine. And to emphasize my point, I wanted to draw two different characters who both have typical stereotypical feminine attributes but don't look anything alike. For example, on this side we have more the classical view a lot of male people seem to have about feminine characters. We have the largest chest, who's actually quite large for a character this age group. We talk of the age group about around 16. That's the reason why I try to draw her eyes very big and her face very soft. I also gave her top a little window, cleavage window, to show her female attributes, how some people like to call it. Where I gave her the classical armor, that is armor barely practical and barely covering anything that should be protected, like her chest and her stomach or her legs. I also gave her the classical long hair. There are always a lot of discussion about female characters, females and young girls should have long hair, because long hair is for some reason very attractive, and because of that it should be female and feminine. On the other side, I have a character who has more the idea of a cute character who likes pink and ruffles on their dresses and dresses in general, because a lot of discussion about if a character is feminine or not about if she wears dresses and skirts or if she wears pants. And for some reason we still have people who believe that pants make you a man. So if a woman wears pants, she's automatically a man. So I wanted to give her this dress with the ruffles and all these cute accessories to stay on the cute idea of how a feminine character should look like. I also gave her a smaller chest and a cover chest. I think a few ideologies of Christianity put here in, that a feminine character should not actually show a lot of skin. That is actually the opposite to the other idea. This is sometimes a more idea of women and older women, what it means to be feminine. I can say that during my time of growing up, this was a classical idea of my mother, how a woman or a young girl should look like. She should wear dresses, she should wear flower prints, she should wear dresses with ruffles and all the things we believe to be feminine. And I also gave this character a very soft face with big eyes, but instead of the long hair I went with a very short hair style, still the same curly hair. I first wanted to give her a hat, but decided against it. I mean, I thought of a mage, but instead I went with another idea. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted for this character were the big eyelashes, to give her the no makeup look, because long eyelashes are actually something you can't have without makeup. I have to disappoint the guys who are listening, it won't work. Eyelashes is something you can't change without makeup. And if you want your pretty ladies, you need to deal with at least a little bit of makeup. I also tried to go with the soft face to give her this young look. And another thing I changed to the first sketch was her chest size. I know it's something girls have no influence about, but it's always a big discussion on this topic if a character is feminine or not. What is actually very ironic because, like I said, girls have no influence about their chest size other than if they do the tricks with their clothing or if they go to surgery. And no girl should have to go to surgery just to be considered feminine. So chest size should never actually be a discussion under this topic. I also went with the typical tight armor who's actually more clothes than actually functional armor, as this is what we have with She-Ra and another few other typical female heroes who are acknowledged by the community, especially by the male community. Like, I also give her the classical short skirt, which She-Ra has, or heroes like Sailor Moon have. It's actually very short, and to the surprise of many men, possibly, girls actually wear shorts under skirts that are this short. I also gave her the very long hair, as the topic of hair is also in the discussion of what is feminine and what is not feminine. Also, a lot of men often acknowledge how they think that long hair makes a woman more feminine and that short hair automatically makes a girl look like a man or manly. What is also very ironic because a lot of older women or women at a certain age often have shorter hair. So actually, if a girl gets older, her hair gets shorter, and nobody would tell a 40-something woman she has to grow her hair longer because she suddenly looks like a man. On this side, I actually gave her the very short hair, but I still gave it a more typical girly cut instead of the very, very short hair. I mean, there are women who have very short hair, more in the length of normally guys have it, but I still think that a lot of women can make this work. So the length of your hair should never determine if you're feminine or not. I also made her clothes more under the idea of girly. A lot of people would possibly call this more girly, but this was, like I mentioned before, the idea my mother had about how a feminine person should be and how a young girl or young woman should be. So I still think that this is another idea what a feminine character could look like. And we have actually the exact opposite. We have a cover chest. The chest is still obviously smaller. We have a very puffy skirt. It's longer. It's not making you see anything. It's even her legs are actually showing barely any skin. I went with a lot of ruffles. I might have overdone it, but I kind of had the idea of the fantasy action idea for Gunner. I once saw when I was younger, and I thought it was actually kind of cute, and it was a big opposite to the female knights in their very tight and barely functional armor. So I thought she would actually work very well. Also, fantasy mages sometimes fit more into this category of clothing. So I gave her a magical scepter. Most scepters have often go with the flower idea, especially if the clothes and dresses already have this idea. I went with a more ice-like, diamond-like idea, because diamonds and emeralds and gems are normally seen as something feminine, whether barely ever with males. I also gave her a really big bow instead of the head I had first in mind. And I added the bows to her shoes. And instead of functional shoes, I thought more about shoes that look a little bit more like something people might actually wear. They're cute and they're simple. So with her, I went with the bright and fair skin, gave her rosy cheeks. Also something you can't do without makeup. But it still looks very natural. So you barely notice that someone put makeup on. So it fits her makeup, no makeup idea. And when I thought about the colors, I was very unsure which kind of colors I should do. I had red in mind, I had blue in mind, and in the end I thought more of a typical turquoise bluish idea. And I also later made her eyes blue. To go with the classical idea what a pretty and beautiful woman should look like, that's because that's most of the time kind of fits the idea of what a feminine woman should look like. It's kind of hard sometimes because those two things often go in one. What men often think is attractive is often also what men believe a feminine woman should be like. It's barely ever logical, as none of these attributes actually have a biological explanation. And we have the idea of the blonde and blue-eyed superhero. We have it a lot in fiction. We have Sailor Moon. We have it in She-Ra. Barbie was blonde and blue-eyed. On the other side, we have this girl with the more tanned skin. It's more like typical for the regions around Spain and Greece. I kind of went with the idea, because that was more like the idea my mother had. A girl should be a lot of outside. A girl shouldn't be pale, look funny. I gave her dark brown eyes and brown hair to make her look softer, make her look friendly, to complement the sweet idea. I wasn't sure about the colors. First I thought about a pink and reddish idea, and in the end I went with the pink to purple, as purple is also a color who's often seen as a girly color, and it goes very well with the brown and pink. I try to use softer pink and purple colors instead of the bright pink, as this also makes her more friendly. This is often an idea that a female character shouldn't look aggressive, as aggressiveness is something that people most often believe to be masculine. So yeah, this are the two characters I came up with, and they are both feminine in their own ways, but they look very, very different. So I would love to know what you think, which character is actually more feminine, or which character fits to your ideas, and what might be the feminine attributes I added and didn't talk about. And I would love to know your opinion to this, so see you next time.